We have to focus on pandemic prevention. We have to fight cancer with AI. We have to fight wildlife conservation. We have to boost accessibility. There are billions of people that cannot see, they cannot hear. We must focus on AI that is doing well by doing good. AI use cases must be focused on adoption of preventing wildfires, diagnosing deadly diseases. The next COVID must be prevented. We cannot allow this anymore. Mitigating risks in critical areas, predictive analysis, making sure that our planet, the planet that we love, is more resilient.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Engatica's interview series. I'm your host, Nimilika, and we are really glad to have you join us today. And today we have Mark Minevich, Chief Data AI Strategist, on the show. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
The Engatica interview series is a powerhouse of insights from industry experts and influencers from around the world. A platform that provides the latest news on AI, automation, and technologies that will help you grow your business. Come, be a part of our community, learn, share, and grow with us. Okay, Mark, so let me start up with my first question. What experiments in Metaverse should organizations be doing to prepare for the future?
Well, thank you very much for this question. It's in the minds of many people right now. First of all, it is very, very important, Nimi, that we clarify that Metaverse is not to be confused with Web 3.0, which is the third stage of development of the World Wide Web. The Metaverse refers to the virtual reality-based parallel internet world where users can interact and engage with each other and digital objects in 3D space. It is an extension of the internet into three-dimensional virtual world. It is fully immersive, fully interactive social platform where people can create avatars to represent themselves, buy and sell virtual property, interact with other users in real time. Web 3.0 is really about blockchain technology and concepts, including digital identity, smart contracts, and decentralized applications. So the audience knows the global metaverse market right now on 2022, according to Statista, is 47 billion in 2022. It is set to be at around 678 billion by 2030, according to the latest research. And again, the metaverse is not limiting us to the physical world. It is not limited to time or space. It is an entirely virtual world where anything is possible. It brings people to share in a shared virtual space to interact and create. Let me go over some very specific use cases, and I wouldn't use the words experiments. I would say use cases that we're going to discuss. Use cases include the reach and community engagement and loyalty. According to the analysis that was done by BCG, macro users within the domain of reach, or something called top of the funnel, include leveraging Metaverse for immersive brand awareness and virtual showrooms. So companies today, such as Ferrari and Nike and Red Bull, have all developed promotional and advertising models in the virtual worlds to generate awareness and excitement for their products. That is very, very important. This is what we call reach and community engagement and loyalty. Within the domain of a community engagement and loyalty, what we call middle of the funnel, there are macro users that includes virtual customer service channels, offering digital product experiences, and creating personalized avatars for customers, any type of customers. For example, Dolce & Gabbana has created an NFT collection that gives customers access to unique online real-life experiences similar to membership programs that you get in everyday real world. Let me also give you a little bit of exposure to other markets. In healthcare, for example, it's a major industry which is going to benefit from the adoption of Metaverse and Web 3.0. It could create much more secure, much more efficient, immersive healthcare experience as you're getting 3D models on the spot, as the doctors are diagnosing and looking at computerized vision. They're looking at cameras. They're looking at range of motions as we move. They're looking at see what injuries are we getting at joints, how the heart is beating, and the patient's recovery process. This is a huge area and a huge acceleration that we're seeing in the healthcare zone. In the area which many of the viewers, I'm sure, are very interested in, the world of fashion and luxury, This is the beginning stage right now, Web3 and Metaverse. For example, Hugo Boss released a TikTok challenge recently, which participants could win NFTs and distinct Boss and Russell athletic jacks with a physical duplicates that can be obtained. The campaign generated 3.1 million Boss Moves videos and over 7.5 billion views. So you could see what companies are doing. You could see what Estee Lauder Clinique collection is hosted a contest for customers or consumers who were a member of its loyalty program. And now finally, public sector is the beginning a way to explore Web 3.0 Metaverse. Web 3.0 can make public sector process exponentially more efficient and provide access to the government services to those that need them. For example, the government can use Web 3.0 to create digital identities for its citizens. The government of Estonia is in the process or have already done so. These digital identities can be used to access various government programs such as healthcare, education, social security. In addition, Web 3.0 can provide secure digital voting system that can run on blockchains. So I'm giving you a flavor of what's going on with an exciting world of Metaverse.
Because Metaverse is getting used in all the aspects and domains of the world, how do we ensure an ethical use of this technology?
So Metaverse is still nascent area right now, but we have to talk about completely, I think, employing ethical and responsible standards for all of the digitalization. We cannot just focus on Metaverse. Metaverse is just one element, IoT, AI. And so I think that specifically if we're talking about digitalization and AI, we need to make sure that AI and all of the related technologies, virtualization, have to have a ethical or responsible component. I've been a proponent of all those major technologies, including AI, for the past 3 decades. I know that the power of AI has unbelievable power to do good, much more good than negative. However, when you look at technologies, disruptive technologies, and Meta, and anything else that comes, the applications have legitimate concerns and risks. For example, we have already developed the field of AI ethics. It's a multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholder field of study that aims to define and implement technical and non-technical solutions to address those concerns. Those solutions, for example, can unintentionally generate discriminatory outcomes because of the underlying data skewed towards a particular population segment. In Metaverse, it's about showing avatars that don't belong to you. So digital identity there is also a big issue. In all of those AI and Meta, in those situations, this could deepen existing injustices, skew power balances further, threaten human rights, and limit access to resources in information. So all of those technologies, including Meta and Web 3.0, AI, IoT, no longer is just optimizing corporate systems and social and societal infrastructure. It has potential reaches much further to solving various crises facing mankind, from climate change to uncontrolled pandemics, as you have seen. We need responsible digital systems. And this is what we do in our task force committee of B20 digitalization. This is what we do in other groups that I'm part of. We have to focus on those crises. Let me go back again, especially on AI. The best way to maximize the harnessing of the groundbreaking technologies, including AI, was to have an open dialogue and visionary-led discussions that potentially impact the global reach of intelligent technologies. The global reach is necessary to unlock policy solutions that leave no one behind. We cannot leave any country, any person behind. In the case of AI, inclusiveness is key to mitigation some of the major risks posed by the AI systems and increase awareness about technology's potential for good. Let me tell you that AI systems, specifically the area which I focus on, behave like black boxes with little or no explanation and how they make decisions and why they make decisions. So according to the latest report coming out from FICO on the state of responsible AI, 2/3 basically mentioned, they can't explain how all those decisions or predictions are made. This erodes trust. This erodes adoption. This reduces the positive impact of this technology. It could damage a company's reputation and trust of its clients, as well as contradicting company values. At the very high level, companies need to create ethics framework to ensure digital technologies, including AI, are developed in a way to mitigate chances to harm relevant stakeholders. More specifically, I would like to recommend that the companies develop chief ethics officer, technology or AI ethics officer, that will ensure broad AI ethics goals are implemented and the company understands how to meet them. Those are complementary goals. There's huge risks on deployments of advanced technology and AI, both internally and other companies, and they have to be mitigated. This specific role of the chief AI or the chief ethics officer dealing with all the technology is a crucial role. It has to deal, besides the skill of generally understanding those technologies very deeply, you must possess a very diverse background and perspective. You must possess something what we call interdisciplinary work experience, deep understanding of processes, of policies for the internal and governmental. You have to be an excellent public speaker, ability to project confidence and present to both internal stakeholders and external partners. The focus will be on multidisciplinary knowledge, effective and inclusive governance to provide oversight for creating the specific ethics board, strategic differentiation and business value. We need to make sure that it's focused on risk reduction, should encourage companies to consider AI ethics or technology ethics as a source of value and strategic differentiation. Public communications and advocacy must be there to facilitate dialogue and trust between all different stakeholders within a company, internally, externally, and encourage company-wide adoption. You spoke about Meta AI. Any type of technologies cannot be done by one person. It can be done by a team. It requires a company-wide approach. So what I did is I covered the very specific set of requirements that companies need to do, whether you're dealing with advanced technologies such as AI or Web 3.0 or any immersive technologies. You have to have an ethical strategy, which is multidisciplinary and covers the trust of the corporation or the enterprise.
So true. That was an amazing advice. So since we spoke about ethics and the rules that companies should follow, how do you think that AI technologies can improve trust with the end users?
Oh, another very, very important question. The end users are critically right now are using and adapting to our products, to our services today, or on companies and enterprises, and they have to be very engaged in the environment of trust, and they have to focus on clearly accepting what the companies have been providing and what they have been giving them. Building trust in AI is critically important to successfully adopting technology-driven strategies that push the envelope and drive efficiency and efficacy in business operations. While some may hesitate, by the way, to fully integrate those technologies into workflows and process them on autopilot, AI and machine learning has been used for years. We are using Google Maps, we're using editors, we're using conversational AI, and all examples of technologies. Of course, there are concerns. We covered them before with AI that clearly are comprehensible right now by the end user community. Businesses are using AI technology, and it must continue to act and operate to foster trust for everyone. How do we foster trust for everyone? We have to, first of all, evaluate AI performance and process. Trusting AI-driven technology for businesses starts with trusting its performance. Does it perform? Does the process really work? Is it stable? Is it trustworthy? Does it execute the tasks? Is it robust? Is it up to date? Are data sets compiled specifically? Are they compiled sequentially for the industry, for the market it operates? The overarching concern is how well and how quickly can AI model the data to make predictions appropriately. The second thing that we need to do is we have to do a foundation of AI in high quality data. Without timely and tangible, accurate data modeling and data systems fall short of expectations. As you know, businesses must ensure and can ensure high quality data sets by vetting, minimizing the number of data sources they have. Ultimately, data must be compatible with the AI system right now. It must be accurate and it must be viable. And we must ensure that on any AI systems, focus has to be on cleaning your data. In basic terms, cleaning data remediates flaws or corruption of data within a data set, right? What is primarily cause of the inaccurate data modeling and ineffective predictions? The common issue of data sets occurring when data is compiled from numerous sources, enabling duplication and mislabeling errors on the system. This is not what we want. We need to fix this. We need to focus on responsible transparency, fairness, and explainability. AI ethics, as we already mentioned, looks at automated technology overall transparency. The level of operational transparency required for the industry varies by application, yet there are some underlying principles. AI transparency must be followed on outlining how the model functions within a business internal operations. The algorithm and AI user should be clearly identified. It should be understood by end users and general public. By the way, by clearly outlining those AI processes to end users, you eliminate the risk of completely misalignment, misunderstanding, and you are now involving a more comprehensive view of how technology operates. There are many more things, but again, to stress, we have to provide transparency. To build trust with end users, we need to provide transparency on how machines have arrived at a prediction. Show users the top predictive factors in your model. Strike a balance between a prediction and drawing end users into some level of detail. Figure out that obscure machine-generated factors, what do they actually mean? Sometimes less is more. Keep it simple as every other system. If you add a predictive forecast into your workflow without explaining how the machine arrived into the conclusion, that's a major issue. You're going to scare the customers. Finally, I would say you have to focus on preserving your privacy and data, specifically in Western countries. Businesses grant AI massive responsibility during today's operation. We must protect privacy. User privacy and data rights are at complete risk with AI. Many companies are wondering how companies plan to address this concern. Right now, we need to focus on privacy-enhancing technology to support data privacy and protection, making sure you're in Europe, you already have GDPR. How do companies leverage collecting the data? How do they focus on alignment with the privacy compliant sources? This is what we need to focus on. We have to invest in end user education, right? Educate your executives, educate your teams. Research shows that the lack of skills on onboarding is the major problem with adoption of AI. I will also tell you that explaining the needs of human logic is very, very important. As you know, AI is about classification. It is not about logic. We must develop capabilities for comprehension and logic. We must certain that AI is understood because it provides context that we need to combine other technologies to execute human logic. The human logic is not machine logic. AI-powered predictions inform users of the best decisions of the outcome, and users will likely know how the decision will affect the desired outcome. Nothing more, nothing else. Finally, continue to focus on continuous feedback for engagement and involvement with all the different users and stakeholders. Predictions are probabilities, markets fluctuate, and you have to continuously provide that feedback. So that's an answer to your question.
Those are some wonderful insights, Mark. So which will be the next wave of technologies that can bring significant employment opportunities?
Everybody is discussing right now the future of work. And what does future of work really mean to all of us, all of the people around the world, folks in the United States and India. As you know, we are entering something called algorithmic economy. It is the algorithmic economy. It is based on AI. It is based on machine learning. It will be transformative on the future of work. But the companies and executives must prepare themselves and their employees for the future. Their responsibilities and activities can be automated, of course, but it depends on the industry you work on. Creativity and social and emotional intelligence are still very difficult for the systems to replicate, extremely difficult. The World Economic Forum, which I'm part of, predicted by 2025, humans will make up only 48% of the global workforce. Digital labor, digital workforce will be 52%. By 2030, the global labor will be estimated 3.5 billion people. And it should be led by knowledge workers with disruptive skills in concert with AI. I'll give you another set of statistics. According to IDC, 44% of time is being wasted every day, every week, I should say, because data workers are unsuccessful in their activity. They're trying, but they're unsuccessful. 54 million people worldwide are wasting their precious time, wasting their time because they cannot accomplish certain tasks. AI could accomplish those tasks in blink of an eye, I tell you. According to the predictions by Dell Technologies and Institute of the Future, 85% of the jobs will exist in 2030, have not even been created now, have not created. This means that today's businessmen and women, everyday employees and enterprise CEOs don't know what the future will be. You'll have people coming and telling you all sorts of things they don't know. Moreover, the integration of AI in everyday work processes based on the data from the World Economic Forum, which tells us it will create 130 million new jobs. This is very exciting. For me personally, my personal passion, AI at work is something to be excited about. It is particularly true when you are analyzing the facts, everything around you. Of course, AI has sensory capabilities, has visual capabilities, has conversational capabilities, but AI is going to sense everything around you. It will help you spot possible opportunities to take advantage of your talents, to determine your new skills and knowledge that are required. What I will say is that demand for flexibility and adaptability is set to increase as workforce automation grows exponentially. According to the research coming out of Gartner, people need to develop certain skills. I will tell you, Nimi, they have to develop skills which are not performed by AI, at least not by any current technologies. Those skills are what? Creativity, social, emotional intelligence, sensing, computational thinking, and deconstruction. Sometimes we like to construct, right, as engineers, but we need to focus on deconstruction. Those categories are supposed to help to build an understanding of the human capabilities that are easily replicated right now by machines, not least, not yet. If the AI develops those capabilities, humans should be able to distinguish themselves by modifying systems and applications of those new talents and knowledge within the necessary interpersonal and soft skills like we're doing right now to create this opportunity. Remember, we have 90 billion neurons in our human brain. We're only using a small fraction of it, 6 or 7%. We should be able to use more. My positioning has been that AI will help humans in the future, will not replace them. People will develop their capabilities and talents much more by applying those skills to new technologies and new developments. This may lead to a bigger digital economy. Today, 60% of the GDP worldwide is digital economy. Today, 60% of the global GDP market is digital. But with all of the changes that I'm proposing, and again, in this, what I call augmentation, human augmentation services, which is machine and digital labor, we're looking at a $2.9 trillion market space. It is the economy where people can create things rather than produce them, since AI could create multiple models at the same time. Computational thinking and deconstruction are skills most currently we possess. We don't use those skills because we don't need them to perform our jobs. We do very mediocre jobs today. The AI could help us to progress us as humans to compete for higher level jobs. I'll give you some examples right now. Train your employees today via something called gamification. The aspects of your business are going to involve, and training is very, very important. Gamification allows you to better engage and teach and retain your employees. So this will be a new set of jobs that I believe that according to the BW world, the gamification techniques works on both cognitive, understanding, evaluation, comprehension, and affective. Affective means emotions. Affective means attitudes. It means values on the human brain. Gamifications can make learning process much easier, faster for your employees than ever before. Much easier for the new systems, much easier for processes and initiatives. Forget about the idea that everybody's going to be coming home, coming to work all the time. It's going to be a remote environment, and I believe we're going to have more telecommute than ever before. People are going to be doing significant amount of more advanced work remotely as the time goes on. I'm talking about innovation rather than repetition. Also, it is very important at your jobs to promote corporate wellness. And the way we're going to do this is we have wearable devices. There's a study that was done by Tractica that suggests 75 million variables will permutate in the workplace this year, 2022. We could take advantage to incentivize workforce to lead healthier, better lives inside of office. Bottom line, I believe that humans, carbon species, we are carbon versus silicon species, which are machines. Humans should embrace compute. Humans should embrace computing and AI as part of the future while fighting to keep what it takes to make them unique. We're unique people. We have unique creativity. We have unique social intelligence. We will never give this up to machines. We will be better than machines. We're not just about classification. We're about comprehension at a very unique level. Of course, the systems are improving, and we're seeing AI also doing some level of comprehension. Humans need to recognize how they could use their unique skills to improve AI systems, not to threaten them. AI, I believe, can be a massive enabler and motivator. It can be a language that connects people from all over the world, people that don't speak the same language, right? They could connect. They may not speak Hindu. They may not speak Bengali. They may not speak Arabic, but they're connected with AI systems and they collaborate better. The success of the people who work with AI depends on how they understand the working principles of technology. I also want to spend a few minutes talking about creativity and meaning. Machines are going to liberate human employees to do more meaningful work. This is why the many estimates that I've seen a lot of research, and the estimates of productivity will rise 40% by 2035 because of this combination. This cross-functional alignment and collaboration is essential for us, essential for countries like India, essential for countries like United States. Multidisciplinary knowledge of AI and impact of society, business strategy and industries and public policy is essential. We must prepare the human workforce, and your audience must know that we must work in lockstep with digital labor. As I said in the very beginning, World Economic Forum predicts 130 million jobs coming out of this new workforce. Of course, there's going to be 75 million displaced jobs by 2025, but those jobs are going to be, again, taken back into the 133 million jobs that we just discussed. It is very important to note that the jobs will include entirely new jobs. Like I said, no executives, no CEO today. They don't know. But there will be, what we know is there will be new jobs coming in the market. It is critically important to train your workforce to think AI is not only a tool, it is a job creator. We must embrace human-machine partnership. Embrace it. This is the way of the future. Understanding differences between AI and humans is one of the most crucial skills for the future. We must identify what parts of organization is managed by AI, what parts are managed by human beings, how do we work together. The machines are not superior, but they could help us to do monitoring. They could help us to lower error rates that the humans are not as good with. Repetitive tasks, more consistent information gathering, analysis is already being done right now. This is a new knowledge territory right now. This knowledge territory means that human beings, what I would say is focus on creative problem solvings, using emotional intelligence to interact with machines. Emotional intelligence is very, very important. They should learn about AI and how the machines work effectively. It's a bond between us as humans and a machine. It could be an intelligent car. It could be an autonomous car via level 5. If you don't understand how the vehicle works or how the computer works or how the engine works, you can never become friends. I'm very good friends with the technology because I know how the system works. I know how the laptop is designed. I know how the chipset is designed. I know how the machine works. This is why they are my friends, and we work very closely together. Computational thinking is also something else. AI can understand human emotions and context because it understands natural language processing and computations. On a human front, understanding the design principles that enable those computer systems is critically important. So I hope I gave the audience something to think about the new opportunities that are popping up in this future of work.
True. You've done a beautiful myth busting right now by saying AI will not replace human beings will work together. It's human beings which AI will go around, and jobs will be created, because there are people who are thinking that AI will replace them and we'll be left without jobs. But there'll be more jobs created which we can't even imagine right now. That was
Exactly.
an excellent insight.
Excellent, Nimi. And I know we're running out of time, but I'll just
Yes.
leave it with the audience. We have been focusing for the last several years, especially when we were hit with this terrible pandemic, with the issue of efficiency, AI efficiency or AI optimization. Those are the areas that primarily the business world was really focused on, and that is what improved productivity and the bottom line and revenue for the companies. But today, I stand before you and I stand before the world to tell you that the focus must be solving the most complex problems that is facing humanity, like environment. This is where I give majority of my time. Nothing more important today than to save our planet from ultimate disaster. Nothing more important. The global pandemic has given us a pause for thought. We're thinking now, and we're taking stock. What is important to you, your family? What is important to mine? We have to focus on AI that becomes more sustainable, more smarter, and reacts to conditions much faster. We have to ensure health and safety and social impact for our planet. We need a future when you could do things you love, live the life that you want to live, that you would deserve. We need to grow and we need to nurture the things that inspire us and inspire each other. We have to focus on pandemic prevention. We have to fight cancer with AI. We have to fight wildlife conservation. We have to boost accessibility. There are billions of people that cannot see, they cannot hear. We must focus on AI that is doing well by doing good. AI use cases must be focused on adoption of preventing wildfires, diagnosing deadly diseases. The next COVID must be prevented. We cannot allow this anymore. Mitigating risks in critical areas, predictive analysis, making sure that our planet, the planet that we love, is more resilient. This is what we need to do. And we need to focus a lot more on finding companies that fight cancer diseases. We're seeing some of them, for example, company in New York called Viomi is excellent. You know, they're combating cancer with artificial intelligence. We have to focus on robotic medicine. Da Vinci robots are already doing surgical systems with AI. We have to focus on accessibility. China-based Cloud Minds is using something called Smart Helmet, called Meta also, by the way, which is equipped with smart sensors that help people with visual impairments to move around environmental areas. An Israeli company, Orcam Technology, is a beautiful example of social impact of doing well and doing good by repurposing AI technology for driverless cars to help 300 million blind and visually impaired people. Now they are sufficient. Now they are moving around. They're using this Orcam technology. This is what, and Elon Musk has committed something, as you know, Neuralink, which has received massive amount. Is really to how to understand how the brain functions and how do we work with the brain and machines much better. This is what we have to do. We have to eliminate food hunger. There are many programs that the World Food Program is being involved. There's already AI project, in United States and all over the world called Nutrition Early Warning System, NEWS, developed by CIAT. This is using satellite imagery, traditional data, using temperature, vegetarian health, whatever. This is a critical thing to help our planet. We got to help the world. 40% of the world crops are lost to disease. How do we stop that? There's a new growth startup called Imago AI, based in India, where you are. Based in India, it aims to use AI to increase crop yields and reduce waste management. Of course, climate change. Finally, one thing to say, climate change. Climate change is a serious problem. There's no end in sight. Climate change is the planet's greatest challenge today. We have started an initiative, me and my colleagues, called AI for the Planet Alliance, together with major companies, with the UN agencies, we're together collaborating with UNDP and UNESCO and the UN headquarters to try to leverage AI capabilities to fight climate change. This is very crucial fight for our survival and for growth. We have enlisted over 30 leading companies and institutions to be part of this, business leaders all over the world. I encourage everyone who's listening, focus on the organization, focus on the climate, respond to the critical threats of global warming impact our fighting. Is going to impact your company. And we need solutions now. We need quick and affordable solutions. We have capital to invest. We need solutions on the market. Bring those solutions on the market quickly. They must become core of the climate change technologies. We must focus sophisticated solutions with artificial intelligence, not only on reducing carbon emissions, but increasing energy efficiency. We must do a lot of monitoring and measurements. We must focus on carbon emissions must be reduced across a variety of industries, from manufacturing to transportation right now. We must do a resource decoupling. Or decoupling of economic output from the values of resources in environment. This is the battle right now, which we're in. Microsoft has pledged carbon negative by 2030. Apple is shifting to the low carbon aluminum, as you know. Amazon is pledging net zero by 2040. Google has investing 5.7 billion sustainability bonds. International Energy, IEE, says a massive amount of CO2 emissions reductions through 2030 come from technology. So we must focus on green technologies, all right? Achieving net zero by 2050. That's what we have to do. Technology is critical in achieving carbon neutrality, and startups and solutions from all over the world come and join the fight, join us, and thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much, Mark. I had extreme fun talking to you today. For more content, subscribe to Engati and tap the bell icon to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders from around the globe. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you with a new expert soon. Bye.
Thank you.